This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. In news from the crime front, police on Grand Bahama investigating the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a partially decomposed body on Glover Lane near Tynes Beach on Sunday afternoon. Police say they received a report of the discovery shortly before 3 p.m. Initial investigations revealed that a concerned citizen, while walking in the area, discovered the partially decomposed body in an area of a bushy track road, clad only in a multi-color boxer shorts. The body was transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital, where it was examined by a doctor. An autopsy will have to be performed to determine the exact cause of death. This matter is under active investigation. In other crime news, police are appealing to the public for assistance in identifying and locating an armed robbery suspect. They say a male dressed in a gray hoodie and armed with a firearm entered a store located on East Street South shortly before 7 p.m. on Saturday and demanded cash from the employees. He made good his escape on foot with an undetermined amount of cash. If you have any information regarding this incident or any other criminal matter, you're asked to contact the police. Meanwhile, another armed robbery suspect got away, but not before the victim disarmed him and held on to the weapon used in that incident. Police are now searching for the alleged culprit. According to police reports, on Friday, shortly after 8 p.m., its control room received a report that a male was robbed at gunpoint in the area of Drake Avenue. Uniformed and plainclothes officers were dispatched. The initial investigation reveals that an adult male, while at an apartment complex along with a female, was allegedly approached by a masked male armed with a handgun who demanded cash. The victim stated that he handed over an undetermined amount of cash to the male, and as a result, a struggle ensued. The male suspect was able to flee on foot, leaving behind a pistol containing a quantity of ammunition. Investigations continue there as well. Another successful Labor on the Blocks job fair hosted by the Department of Labor this past Saturday, with over 1,500 job seekers attending the fair, according to Director of Labor Robert Fackerson. The Labor on the Blocks 2.0 job fair was held at Anatole Rogers High School and saw queuing in line from as early as 6 a.m. Director Fackerson dubs it a huge success.
Department of Labor is extremely pleased with the turnout of the job here on Saturday. We had approximately 45 employers on site, and we are appreciative that we have some information where a number of persons were hired on site. In addition to the 45 employers on site, we had representatives from the National Training Agency, BTVI, the National Maritime Academy, and Cybertech, in an effort to properly prepare those job seekers who don't have the skills to get skills to seek those jobs. And fittingly well, we saw a large amount of young people in general and young men in particular who came properly dressed, properly attired, and were hired on the spot. We were very pleased with that.
One of the drastic improvements from the job fair held in May of this year is the way job seekers presented themselves. Director Fackerson says this was due to the Department of Labor providing new work attire for individuals, an initiative put in place by the department. Add to that, a number of people came prepared to be interviewed and even hired on the spot. He shared this successful story.
We had one young lady came to the job fair yesterday morning. She was I am advised about 5:30, 6 o'clock. She came with all of her information. She came on a resume. She was properly addressed. She had a police record. She had her references. Everything was there. You know she was told that day? The young lady was told must go home and report to work at 2 o'clock that day. And that's the kind of success stories we had. We had one employer who was even not scheduled to be there. He called that morning and asked if he could come down. He's looking for two people to work in his business. He came down, we set him up, and he left there with 4 new employees.
High school students also turned out to the job fair in an effort to enroll into the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Training Institute dual enrollment program for students in grades 10 and 11 to earn certifications in skilled areas. Director Fackerson says a number of students were enrolled on site.
Well, we want to identify the needs of the labor market. We need AC technicians, we need welders, we need plumbers, we need carpenters, we need masons, we need tile layers. All of these various disciplines are what the employers are asking for because they have non-Bahamians filling these roles now. To get Bahamians qualified, and then hopefully by the time they reach leave high school, these young men and women will be better positioned to enter the job market and reduce the amount of labor certificates and work permits that are presently issued in these disciplines today.
Among the businesses that presented at the Labor on the Block's job fair included Bahama, Atlantis, Ocean Club, John Bull, Commonwealth Brewery, SMG Construction, Disney Cruise Lines, and fast foods like Bamboo Shack, Wendy's, and KFC. Director Faxton says there are plans for future job fairs, with one scheduled to be held in Grand Bahama sometime in November. Registration for the new rent-to-own housing initiative, A Place to Call Home, begins on November 1st, as announced by Minister of Transport and Housing Jobeth Kobe Davis at last week's Office of the Prime Minister press briefing. Here she gives details on how interested people may apply to register and the required documents.
At registration, employed applicants must upload a valid passport, national insurance card, job letter not older than 45 days, and their most recent pay stub. Self-employed applicants must upload a valid passport, national insurance card, business license, and most recent bank account statement. The Department of Housing reserves the right to ask for additional information if required. Applications will be reviewed and vetted by the Department of Housing and the Department of Housing's Advisory Committee, which is comprised of expertise from both the private and public sector. All information provided will be held and handled at the highest level of confidentiality.
According to the minister, the first rent-to-own pilot program will provide up to 50 homes across the islands of Abaco, New Providence, Grand Bahama, North Andros, North Eleuthera, San Salvador, Exuma, and Cat Island. Minister Kobe Davis says applications may only be received through the ministry's website.
This is to ensure full compliance with internal controls and quality assurance. A communication will advise members of the public on the opening of the registration period, which we expect to have ready by the first week in November. The rent-to-own initiative will be administered in a professional and transparent manner. The program will be financially sustainable and viable. The program will be subject to audits and financial reporting.
When asked what led to the decision to test the rent-to-own housing initiative on the selected islands, Minister Kobe Davis says people on those islands are seeing more economic growth.
We were getting a lot of queries from the islands, specifically Abaco and Grand Bahama, where Hurricane Dorian affected mostly, and there's been a low rate of persons getting back on the job. This would be a great initiative to help them still achieve the dream of becoming home ownerships. Additionally, we have a lot of self-employed persons that live on the Family Islands, and it's been quite difficult for them to secure financing to get a mortgage, but they've been doing quite well in their businesses, and so this is also good to help and assist them. And of course, New Providence have a great demand for housing, so anything that the Department of Housing offers as an initiative would also be offered in New Providence.
According to the minister, for the first 36 months, a portion of the rent will go towards the down payment of the mortgage, property maintenance, and insurance costs. She explains that the transition to ownership and a mortgage will begin when the required down payment is secured by the applicant's financial institution. And finally, ensuring that all citizens have knowledge and access to the government's affordable housing plans, Kobe Davis recently gave a housing presentation to Cisco Bahamas Food Services, that's BFS, the staff there, after BFS approached the government and requested a housing and mortgage opportunity presentation for their employees. Minister Kobe Davis explained to the staff the various housing options available in 1, 2, and 3 bedroom homes in the various subdivisions underway, as well as financing options through Bahamas Mortgage Corporation, commercial and other central bank approved lending institutions. She also described the rent-to-own options and options to purchase housing inventory on the Family Islands as an investment property for Airbnb or for a second home. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Dorino Saunders. Thanks so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.